Okay, so starting from the top, there are three main pages for all of partners. That includes alliances and technology partners and channel partners. I'd like to have one page. Right now, I'm thinking it's going to be this resellers page, but I think that this naming convention in the URL definitely needs to be changed because we're no longer just servicing, channel resellers. It's more of channel partners because there's all different types of partners. So that needs to be updated. That was in the original request. I went in due to the launch that they had today of the partner locator for the partner portal within the channel program. And as you can see, I edited the banner. I gave a link to find a partner. So I'm going to click on that link. This is going to take you to that partner locator that's driven out of the partner portal, which basically replaces the old look and feel for all of the channel partners, giving all the levels of detail, etc. Going back here, what I also did is I deleted all of the information that was contained on this page, and I gave pointers, just very rudimentary, don't laugh at my HTML capabilities. This takes us back to the alliances and technology partner page, how to become a channel partner, and find a GitLab partner. That actually, these two links are the same, they're redundant. But becoming a channel partner, I'm going to go there. This page is actually okay. I think it probably needs to go into a new brand, but we recently, I recently revamped this when we launched the new channel program in April. It's very, very basic, but it's fairly clean. Probably could use a little love here at the top banner. But this is part of it. And that really is where we drive our channel partners to apply. So this gives them details around what kind of program tracks we have, what each one of those means, and how to actually apply. This one here will take them back to the portal to apply for being a channel partner. Now, this is the big one. So user experience is going to be huge there because I'd like to have one sort of partner page. If you see what our alliances and technology partner page is, this is the one that is, I mean, it's good enough right now. It has been good enough to date. So obviously this is a bit of a hot mess. You can search by different things and you can go into different areas. Like if you click on, cloud providers, it's going to hot link you to that. But it's just, like as you scroll down, it's just a myriad of different partners, updated in what is this, a YAML file that gets updated, and then it populates this web page. But a lot of misused real estate in this, as well as, obviously we can jazz this up a little bit better. This also takes them to the partner portal, just like the channel partner page, to apply today. And it also points them to how to integrate with us from a technology standpoint. So those are the three main partner pages. One of the problems that we've had to date is that the alliances and technology partners is what you would deem as the main point of entry, which is partners, and then go to channel partners, etc. But from there, it's just kind of a bit of a mess because you have resellers, partners, and then the partner, the channel program. Those are the three that we need to combine. I also think that at a very base level, almost, I would say 99% of our competitors, you would have a tab up here that would say partners. Right now, we're hiding it under support, partners, and channel partners. No one really thinks to go to support to find that. So I think just from an overall nav perspective, that's a little in our, kind of disadvantage for people finding our partners. So I'd like to talk about, adding that as a menu item right on the main page for partners. And then eventually, I've also requested, there is an issue. We just launched today, which was part of the big launch that they did. In addition to the partner locator, so if I go back to the resellers page, they launched a certification program, and we're looking for a net new page to host the certification programs
Makes
and all of
sense.
the information there, which
Okay.
would, you know, kind of be something underneath once we get the big structure ready. You know, it would just go underneath. It would be partners / certifications or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So
Can I
that's it
ask
in a nutshell.
That's amazing. This is really helpful. I'm so happy we have it recorded. I want to
Tina,
check on something really quick. Oh, sorry, Brandon.
was just wondering, I think the other part would highlight is if you go, that's at the high level now. When we talk about where, in my opinion, I think where people have an intersection between what GitLab is and what they want to do. They come with some base level pieces. They are probably coming in many cases as an Amazon customer, Amazon user that wants to use GitLab.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
A very, very limited. And so this kind of comes a little bit more, Danielle, I think this is the step past that is, who are our customers? I have a mask on, sorry, I'm at my son's soccer,
okay.
so
We can
this
hear
is
you.
hard.
You're fine.
I think what we're missing is how do we attract, because again, if we want to get new people into GitLab, we need to get them started on GitLab. The context we're not giving them. So right now we spread, if you want to do an Amazon user, a Google user, or a VMware user, there's only 5 really platforms that we really care about. We spread them all over the place. So like, how did you deploy something on Lambda, set up GitLab on EKS and deploy to Lambda?
Yep.
Like you just got to run all over the place. So we haven't taken our content and delivered it in the format or an easy way for someone to say, my entry point is I'm Amazon user. I want to use GitLab to deploy to Amazon, or I want to deploy on Amazon, and then. So that's a big place. I think we have a huge potential to meet customers right where they are. So that's the big work I think you were talking about.
So Tina,
Yeah,
can I take over the screen share for just a second? I want to use a comp to basically see like, so good news is there's other companies in the world who also have partner pages. We can take a look at ones who do a good job.
Of course.
And
yeah,
that's a great
absolutely.
place for us to start, I think. I want to look at HashiCorp as a nice example.
Yes.
Like you said, they've got partners right up in the nav. And as Brandon was calling out, you know, they've got this very immediate brand affinity here. It's like, yes, okay, it's very likely that I'm also an AWS or Google Cloud user. And then when I click on AWS, they have a journey. They begin to take me down. It's like, okay, cool. Or validating that like, yes, we understand this other tool you use and we're helping you connect the dots. I think what would be really good for us to do, just because I think we have, it's like low hanging fruit right now, would just be to take a couple comps and just say, what do we like about these? Like what is working about these? And rather than trying to reinvent, I really honestly think a good place to start would be some strong inspiration from good companies in our space. Snowflake has got a different approach. They've got this kind of multi-partner approach.
Yeah, which is kind of like
nice.
how Splunk will do it the same way as well.
Yeah, let's pull up Splunk. And so I think what we could do to start is just picking a couple design patterns from companies we think they're doing a good job. And I think you're the best people to decide, you know, who you think is really doing a great job. But like, I think in Splunk's case, I don't know if they have partners in the top now. Let's see.
They don't. Yeah, anytime I Google them, I usually just Google Splunk partners.
Yeah, and so that's the other thing, right? People don't know, but people don't always come through the website. It's be very normal.
Yeah.
Look, partner portal, you know, automatically completed. I could totally imagine searching GitLab partner portal. So we do also want to think about what you know, if you come in this way, what's the experience too, of course. So go ahead.
Yeah,
Brandon,
and that's
sorry.
that is that partner portal that, you know, maybe we need a link back to our website on that, which I don't think is there today.
Brandon, what were you going to say? Sorry to cut you off.
Nope, I like that. Yep. Shameless. Let's go what's working. Don't need to recreate a wheel on this. It's in fact, the less wheel creating you're doing and the more it's something that others have used or are used to, like even the better. Because they use other tools.
Yep.
Hashi would be a great one because we have a huge overlap with Hashi.
I love the way that Hashi is doing this, because each of those pages, like when you clicked on AWS, we already have that. We call them a solution page. So it's a /solution/AWS. That page is already there, could be revamped as well. So the content is there. It's just the user experience that really needs a lot of help.
So I agree with what you said, but I also think we're missing a connecting message. So I think one of the struggles with our partner page from my perspective today is the story isn't really there of like, GitLab is a great way to, leverage, these 10 other things that you're already doing. This is HashiCorp telling that story about them and AWS. And I think giving you a space to tell that story. So like we have all these great assets at GitLab. We need to take inventory and put them in here. But like what this really has, it has like a nice story flow with a goal at the end. So I think that's another thing we might want to consider is like, Becky's been doing a ton of work on the journey. And you mentioned, what's the intention this person has when they get here? Like, what are they trying to do? We need to not just continue to rearrange our content. I think we also need to make sure it actually gets to some, end goal that you actually care about. So like here, they've got several interesting things, right? If you've only got to here and you didn't convert, you probably still read this white paper. And I'm guessing this is like a gated conversion. So you still capture the person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they say, cool, I trust that, this is interesting, but I'm going to move on. And now we have different ways they can
The different
dig
products,
in.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And each one of these has a getting started action.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, if I didn't capture them here, I'm capturing them here. Okay, fine. Maybe they are still not convinced or they're not sure they want to take that action. Okay, well, now we have stories of these are proof points. We have all this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you scroll past this. Maybe you didn't know these brands or you're just like, I don't know what I want. Well, last line of defense is a human is going to either, I'm sure this demo request has a gate or contact sales obviously is a gate. So this is just all a funnel to harvest that intention. And I think that's part of what makes this good is that it's not just that we have all the copy and assets, we totally do, but it also makes sure that at the end, the odds that this person didn't take one of these actions, I think is fairly low if they had any kind of real intention to enter here, right? I feel like that's what I think is really good about this. And it also looks just really nice. But more importantly, I feel like at the end of the day, you don't just want people to become partners, which I feel like is still what the portal feels like more geared towards. It's more about all the people who want to go solve problems. Is that fair to say? I'm trying to reflect back what I think I know from talking to you over the months, Tina, but tell me if I'm wrong, okay?
I think, I'll jump in here. I think you have two views on that. So I think you're hearing my view, and Tina, you can speak for yourself. My view is more what you just covered. I think that getting new partners is what we've landed on in so many spaces because Michelle's team, I mean, my team's 4. Michelle's team's 30. And so they've just started just cramming like all stuff. And I think it's valuable, but I think we've ended up way over rotating on new partners. I think this is one of the things you'll have to weigh. My opinion is if you really want to be a partner, the website doesn't need to be great about catching your intention like you just went through. You'll figure it out. If you're a partner and you want to be a partner, you'll query it and figure it out. Like you don't have to be all that good at it. But for a customer, it's a very different story. And I think we've optimized for the wrong use case.
I think just one thing I'll say though is if I see you make Amazon look really good, I'm going to want to be a partner with GitLab because I want that page, right? So I think one nice thing about making it great for the customer, to your point, Brandon, is like we should also be selling like, hey, partners, like we're a good partner. We make you look awesome. We tell your story. We add more validation. So we can probably get both. I'm just saying you already have a lot of the other stuff. So I want to make sure that I'll just show you HashiCorp has a nice become a partner experience. It's a single page. This seems like the kind of stuff we would want to do. But what do you think is more important to prioritize? Like if we dive into this, we're going to probably, Becky and I, we'll start talking about like a phased approach to starting to work on this and building out a plan. What is the goal? Like, is it partner leads? Is it new partners? Like, what's the metric that if we work together really well, that would go up for you all?
Leads for this one, I'm going to say I want customer leads for us. Like this should be, I think I would want you to measure this the same way you would the, GitLab, about.gitlab.com/enterprise, right? You've created a different journey, like same thing.
Yeah.
This should be all about capturing. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to measure because I think that's what we
experience.
get.
Well, the good news is that Becky and I and our whole team are going to be switching to inquiries as our KPI next year. So we're moving away from pure MQLs. That's going to become kind of Dunk's world. And this is super aligned with what we need to be driving, and we need to be finding new inquiry channels and paths. So I think that's how we're going to tie this story together of like, why are we working on this? Why are we investing significant time? And then we need to just work with you I know it might feel like we already have all the content, we have all the copy, it's not a big lift, but I think that probably is just like an initial lift that's not engineering lift. It's really just us spending some time together, especially with you, Tina, just like sorting through all the stuff we have and figuring out like, where do we need copy updates? Where are we missing chunks of the story? Does this line up with the customer journey? Like, do we have a journey defined for this particular type of person? And a little bit of investment and documentation there will make it so this will never get into a bad place again, because then we'll have all the guidelines for like how this part of the website is supposed to be, so it can get maintained better. Because I feel like that's part of what seems like happened here is like no one helped you maintain this. And like you did a really amazing job, Tina, making these MRs and like changing the HTML. You should be super proud. Like, I think it's great. I don't think you should.
I'm so not a web developer.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
it's great.
Don't.
But you should be getting more support. But I think we got to document what you need better so that when people are asked to help you, they like have somewhere they can go and be like, okay, cool. Like, this is what this is about. Because they're web developers. They don't know about partner programs.
Yeah.
So we can help you with that too.
So I agree with what Brandon said. So there's a couple journeys, right? So the first journey that's related to a customer is sort of where I was initially on that /resellers page, right?
Yep.
So the inbound there is, hey, I am a GitLab user and I need a partner, an SI partner, to do some implementation services for me. And then that's when we, at least in VC1, in my mind, we just point them off to that partner locator. Let the locator do all that heavy lift, right?
Yep.
And then fix that user experience for the technology and alliances partners as well, because, you know, like a Hashi, who has integrations with us in the cloud providers, who are our top ones, you know, we have all the solution pages that are up, but the calls to action and that getting them to actually convert into some kind of inquiry, not so great. We're really good at the information part. We got a ton of information out there. We need help with the, how do we get this to actually be a real inbound web page, inbound marketing web page for us.
Okay. So it seems like the journey is probably something we can map out, but my fundamental understanding here is that basically they're coming in and they're either saying, I need someone else to partner with because I can't do this myself, or I can do this myself, but I need to know who to use, or I have a problem and it's a little bit murky, I need to talk to someone. And that's where the inquiry really comes in, although there could be inquiries along the way. And then the last one is, I am a partner. I could help solve your customers' problems. I need a way to let you know I'm available to raise my hand. Those feel like the 4 flavors just off the top of my head. Did I miss a major bucket, or does that feel like there's a gap?
That pretty much covers it, right, Brandon?
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
By the way, you're the experts. I'm just making sure I understand well enough so that I can actually be helping you. So I don't mean to like tell you your business at all. I just
No.
You're
I
spot on.
summarized it perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was good.
And to be clear, the most encouraging thing is we're headed in the same direction. What we want to measure, at least from an alliances standpoint, because that's what we know. There's so much there, and we've not tapped it. And so being able, like, working with you to align this to what you want to do. So you look at this. I want your team to look at the alliance pages and the technology pages in particular as your best spot to get leads, because I think it's one of the best. It won't be best, but it'll be a very good one.
I think it's high intent for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think then what I want to do is, rather than jumping to implementation, because I know it's tempting because we have so much stuff already, I want us to take a moment to make a phased plan of like, what are the most important things that need to just happen now, because there's like, either you've got launches coming up or dates that you're going to have to hit for other things. And then we also should start thinking about making some guesses around what would generate the most high value inquiries so that we prioritize those things. My hunch is we're going to probably leave the become a reseller and the portal kind of alone. And we're going to focus more on like top logo journeys, like AWS, Google, the big brand journeys first, because we just think the volume is bigger. But I kind of will defer a little bit, probably to Becky, because I have a feeling this is going to be the Becky strategy task. I'm not sure. Actually, Becky, you've been really quiet. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you think we should tackle the strategy here?
No. So I think that you are pretty much saying everything that I would come back to after this.
Okay.
I think the things that are very helpful from this call were, in my mind, is just because the way that the website is set up is kind of all over the place. It's really nice to know that, like, here's the URL and this is what it's supposed to be doing with it. And when we want to point somebody here, the reason is because it's on this point on the journey. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and listen to this call again after this. Tina, like, you know, I know that you started that issue for like, here's your dreams of what we have on here. I think another issue where we're just information gathering would be great. And you can, I mean, if it's easier for you, you can start an issue and then put it in like a slide deck. Sometimes that's just easier because you could, like, you know,
Take a screenshot and
take a screenshot. That's fine. Like I'm happy to work in a slide deck for something like this, or a mural board, because it's just so much easier to look through. I know, I just want to check in because I know we only have a few minutes left. Based on this one issue, I just want to check that we got some things covered that you needed for this launch. So you were able to update that CTA
I did.
button. Yeah,
I did. It's not beautiful.
I was watching it just to make sure that, like, you were able to do it. I just, you know.
I did.
And then on here we have the, I want to talk to you about the web URLs. So I left some questions in there, but I think now I actually confused a few things, but I think that would be a good place to start before we even get into like navigation, and where we put it is just like the web URLs and what we're calling those things.
Yeah, because it's a hot mess right now, for sure.
Yeah. So
that's
I think
how I started the URL. That's how I started the recording. You'll hear it like, this is all a hot mess. And I don't know what the real answer is. So I would look to you all for sort of a best practice. You know, the /partner should likely be your first entry into all partners. And then your journey will take you out to channel. It'll take you out to become a partner or to a technology or alliances partner. That's just sort of my theory, but you know, it's not that way right now.
Yeah, so that's what I would say is, like, I want to just we got the quick thing done that you guys needed for this launch. I want to look at these URLs and the URL structures, and we can look at HashiCorp. Then we can go through and start, you know, we put this user journey down that we have here, and we can go, okay, here's the big logos that we, you know, like the things that we want to talk about for AWS. And like you said, we can just take what other people are doing and have that stuff ready as our first go. And then I think the bigger, like, user interaction and user journey, that's going to come a little bit later. We just want to make sure that it's not so crazy that people are very confused. And I think I want to make sure after we do the URLs and we do these pages, quick MVCs that we can do to make our lives a little bit easier is just make sure that those pages connect properly. So like at the top of it, it's like, here's, if you want to do this, if you want to do this, if you want to do this, and that people can click into those links, which takes very little time on our end, but I think will help solve that problem. And then it gives us a little bit more time to put in that phased approach of how we make this actually work the way we want it to.
That's perfect.
And I think we're totally supportive of getting partners into the top nav as soon as it's, you know, not quite as confusing. So let's make that one of our major milestones together, that we like all feel like, okay, not only are we putting in that key piece of real estate, but that when we send people there, like we can capture some value from that. I think that would be our first major point of like, wow, we've really like not just moved the needle a little way, but that'll be our first like big waypoint of like, okay, this is turning into something. But it definitely belongs up there. I don't think you're going to get any resistance from that. We just have to, we need to refactor the nav a little, just to share with you, there's a meta challenge, which is there's like a lot of people battling for things up there, and we need to simplify that, but partners should be up there. It's probably one of only 4 or 5 things that should be. So that's going to happen.
Cool. Excellent. I'm happy. This is very productive, because sometimes, like you said, Becky, it is difficult for me to write it in an issue because it's in my head, and you know, if I can just take you through it, but the slides, so go back through this, and then I can begin to fill in any gaps that you have, and then let's come up with our strategy of sort of how we would take this on.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna do that, and then I am gonna circle back with Michael because he's the one that has to implement all of these things to make sure that when we have that he's all good with that. Again, like Danielle said, for the nav, he is he actively knows that that's a problem and is working on it. So it's one of those things where I'm hesitant to throw something and be like, hey, we need to add this on here. What I would do is I'm going to be like, hey, this is probably going to need to go up there. Here's what I'm working on. Can I get a timeline for you on when you guys are going to do those nav updates so that we can put that into this plan?
Perfect. Excellent.
My only other ask, I know we're going to run out of time, is let's make a strategy that spans more than just this quarter.
Yep.
Like, let's
Yes.
think about what we want to look like when we're IPOing the company so that we have more laid out. So you don't have to like make a bunch of changes and then we don't all hang out for a few months. We lose a bunch of context and then we have to come back. I think it would be way better to just lay out this bigger roadmap that you have. Even if we say like, wow, some of this we can't do for a long time. I think that would really help us just keep continuity on this project so it never gets kind of
Doesn't get as stale as it is. No.
Yeah, it got kind of stale, and I think we have to keep it fresh together.
Yeah. For sure. I love that idea.
Awesome.
Thank you
Very
all.
cool.
I'm
Yes,
uber
thank you.
encouraged. Uber encouraged. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm so happy we get to work together on this.
Awesome.
Likewise.
Love it. All righty. I think we all have a plan. You all
All
have
right.
a good rest of your evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Cheers, all.